A few years ago, back in what we'll just say was my late 20s, at the probably the peak of my party life, my the party phase, I suppose, of my youth. I came up with an interesting game plan. I live my life in a bit of a different way, and what I would do is, instead of partying on the weekends, instead of going out drinking whatever on my Friday nights and Saturday nights, what I would do instead was I would party from Sunday night until Thursday night. Certainly not every day, not every, not even probably half the week, usually. But if I decided to go out, if people wanted to go out either to a club, or if they wanted to get some drinks, or just, hang and do whatever, I would plan that around my work nights. The reasoning being that I figured I could simply enjoy a hangover on my company's time, rather than give up my precious weekends. I'm certainly not advocating that anybody does this. It was definitely irresponsible. But there's a certain point to what I'm saying here, which is, even a few years ago, when I was 5-6 years into my writing spell, or into this writing path, I recognized the importance of not giving up my weekends, and not giving up those few days out of the week where I didn't have to devote 8 hours to a day job. That I recognized that partying on a Friday night was going to screw me over from being able to get any real quality writing done on a Saturday. That dealing with a hangover on a Sunday morning was going to basically derail me all day, and the next time I would be at the keyboard would be on a Monday evening after work when I was tired, but quote unquote fresh, because I hadn't partied on the Sunday night into that day. A lot of us give our best hours in our best time to other people, and especially when you are a creative type, when you have only a few days out of the week where that's yours, we tend to give up those days for more productive work days during our work week. So we will say, hey, we work from Monday to Friday, and hey, we're going to reward ourselves with a nice night out here on a Friday night. And if I get to sleep in all day Saturday and not get anything done, so be it. I need to unwind after a week of hard labor. And believe me, I've worked jobs where, I've done everything from jobs that are mentally draining to jobs that are physically draining. So I get it. But if you're going to be serious about this process, if you are really, really dedicated to becoming published, taking writing as a serious endeavor, I think you've got to protect your weekends. You've got to protect those days off that can be used to get the most productivity done. It's not easy, and it's annoying. It's annoying to give up, your fun days, to give up the fun times for this. But think about how much further you would be if you had your weekends, if you actually used 8 hours on a Saturday to get that story written. Think of how much you could do between Friday night at 5 p.m. to Monday morning at 7 a.m., right? You have basically, 72 hours, something like that, if my math is right, to get something done. A lot of us, and for me, this was definitely a good period of my life too, where I was in that position where, I was pissing it away. I was giving it up. I was lending it to someone else. That other person really was the company, right? I was giving my time. I was giving up my best hours of the week to the company and not to myself. And it required, at this point now, it requires a discipline to be more restrained in how I do things. Back then, I figured I could just have my cake and eat it too, and decided to just flip the narrative completely and just say, all right, yeah, I'll do just a bare minimum to avoid getting fired at this particular job here, and just show up basically with a stomach ache and a headache and all that stuff, and whatever. At least I feel clear-headed on the weekends to get my writing done. So the point of this is not to have you do what I did. That was very irresponsible. But to try and preserve your weekends, to find a way to be more moderate, to find a way to really re-examine your weekends and understand that your weekends are your most precious time of the week. It is the time of the week that you can actually take advantage of your freedom and actually get something real produced. And it sucks. And I know what it's like to work throughout the week and to get your weekends and to think to yourself, man, if only I was writing full time. If only I was writing Monday to Friday and I had my weekends off like a normal human being. I know it sucks, but I'm encouraging you to treat your weekends like they are sacred, to try and take your days off and to really use those to be more productive. It's perhaps the biggest thing that helped me through a lot of those early stages. Now that I do this every day, I get a bit more done on the weekends. I do, but I mean, now that I do this every single day, I'm kind of in a position now where I more or less just crank out the words at kind of the same amount. I've had a goal of hitting about 90 minutes every day of writing. Yeah, there's been plenty of times I haven't hit that, but in general, if that's my goalpost, my weekends will be kind of the same thing. But you can move much faster along this path if that's what you want. If your desire is to get more done, to be more productive, to kind of get to your goal a bit quicker, that's the fastest way. The fastest way is to take advantage of the free time that you have and to do more with it. I wish it was easier, but hope I nailed that point. But I'm going to sign off here now. Today was a bit of another slow session, another session. Eventually, I'm going to get through the slump. I'll be back at it tomorrow. But for those that are looking to make that jump, looking to find out where maybe that next level is, consider it. Consider how well you're using your weekends. Consider how well you use that free time and how much more effective you could be if you used it more effectively than you do now.